wait, there's a red pill community for women now, meaning we have female versions of Andrew Tate. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Some
A
bullshit.
broke man is a dangerous man, and you have no business dating one.
Look, I'm not becoming one of those types of content creators, but I've seen too many videos in 2025 of women just portraying loser activity. So when I saw this video on Abba and Preach's channel, I knew I had to make my own version of it. And literally, like somebody said in the comment section, there's just a bunch of contradictions on both sides. They don't even realize they are becoming fresh and fit with wigs on.
Back in the olden days, they would see 200 baddies in their whole life. And now it's like they are desensitized to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll have conversations with my guy friends where I need to check them, where I'm like, you need to check yourself. They'll be like, oh, well, her hair wasn't perfect, or she didn't have like veneers, so I just didn't. And I'm like, you are a 4 at best. Like, this is insane.
I know double standard.
Wait, what? I don't understand. How is there a red pill for girls? Wait, like, what did she even say? Is she complaining that a guy is complaining too much? Is that what she's complaining about?
Standards exist, but literally think about if we saw any male content creator come out and do that exact type of content. Like, literally think about it. Just, let's say 2 men on a podcast based in Miami. Matter of fact, let's put some women around them and they just
That's
make those.
literally fresh and fit, bro.
That already exists. That's the whole red pill community. Male red pill content creators' core beliefs are that men should be high value, women are promiscuous, they're not to be trusted, they're gold diggers, etc., etc. But when you really start paying attention to the women online, or hell, even the ones in person, they are saying the exact same things in reverse. Men don't deserve X, Y, and Z. Only high value men get respect. All these same red pill adjacent conversations.
I hate when short
LITO
men.
69_420 redeems TTS and says urgently eating my B-day cake.
I hate when short men try to talk to me like, do I look like I would want to have short chilling with you?
God damn!
I mean, that's just their standard again. Wait. This about me, chat. I'm literally the tallest nigga in this chat right now. Out of all y'all niggas, I'm literally the tallest. What are you talking about?
And now maybe that woman is just into raising the next fleet of NBA players, but I think that there's a little bit more to it. Myron Gaines literally has a book titled Why Women Deserve Nothing, and he's a bona fide loser, pretty much across the internet. But if a woman were to do the same thing, which they are, nobody bats an eye.
Sometimes men will grow to resent you for being the one that was there watching them struggle, for being the one that had to buy their underwear and buy
30
them
reasons
food.
why
They
men
feel like you've
deserve
already
nothing.
seen.
Bro, what is going on? I am so confused. Bro, you're telling me that women have started their own red pill and nigga, like, what?
them not looking like the provider.
I think women get this pass on the internet to say the most outrageous things about relationships and dating. The things that can make them seem like honestly goofies if anybody was giving a clear perspective. But the strange phenomenon about this is women will give them praise for saying just outlandish shit. Every time I scroll down the timeline, I see a video like the ones that we've shown, but I'll see a video like this. And then when I go to the comment section, it just has me looking, wow, amazed.
Whenever I've heard a man say, let me see what you look like with no makeup, let me see what you look like without the hair, I feel that that man is telling you that he does not have the money to finance your beauty upkeep. Don't come on.
Bruh. Now I get it. Now I get it. Damn, okay. Like, what the fuck? Now I understand, bro. Niggas is just, like, the girls is just really, like, copying the men with the red pill shit. Like, red pill women are just copying red pill men and stuff like that, I guess. But like, this is too much because I don't know why boys do that. What? Ask girls what they look like without makeup and what they look like without the hair? You don't know why boys do that? Basically, I think niggas do that because it's like I think niggas do that because it has to be because of some like girls always be like, oh, I want a man that's tall, I want a man that has a job, has a car, blah blah blah, or something. Like when okay, not car like that, but like they talk about what they want in a man, like looks wise, and like, oh, I can't date a short man. That's when guys say, oh well, let's see how you look without makeup. Then I can't date an ugly bitch, like type shit. I think, you feel me? I think yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just some childish shit. You feel me?
Because I ain't got it. When a man says that to you, he wants to strip you
The
of
fuck.
everything. He doesn't want you to have the thought process of maintaining yourself.
One thing that the internet has to do in 2025 is when somebody slows down their verbiage, they need to stop listening to them. Very rarely are they spitting any sorts of facts. I can almost promise you that it has nothing to do with the upkeep that you have or you having some sort of lavish lifestyle that he can't participate in when you do it. He literally just wants to see what you look like without fucking makeup on. Like, I don't even understand how you can jump to those hurdles in order to come to that conclusion. But the
That's
Olympics,
the thing. Girls jump to those hurdles because they think they know everything. They think how to explain, it's like when a guy says, "Oh, let's see how you look without makeup," they think that it's on some like, "Oh, you can't provide for me, so you don't want to make makeup." You feel me? They want to jump to conclusions. That's all they fucking do.
is in Los Angeles in a couple years, and if you're already ready right now, everybody else just needs to stop and not even compete, because you are gonna win if you are jumping to conclusions like this. It almost seems like when I watch videos like that people have things to hide about themselves. I hear videos talking about men don't need to know women's finances, men don't need to know women's dating history, men don't need to know what you look like without makeup, men don't need to know.
If I find out my girl has been dating 5 other niggas and fucked 15 other niggas, and I don't know that off rip, there's just some things you need to know. Okay? Gets to a point. Gets to a point.
About your family life. Well, damn. Then you get mad when men don't know things about you, and it's because, well, it's none of their business. It's not something that they should know. It's not a means for them to protect themselves, just like it's a means for you to protect yourself, but it's them being judgmental and picky and all these other things. I don't see too many times when people call this sort of conversation out, but this is just as detrimental to dating from a female perspective as it is to a male perspective when you hear Fresh and Fit talk about only having the 304s. Now you're justifying why you should go out into the world doing these things, and it's not leading to any sorts of better results. Hell, has she even ever thought about maybe this man is saying, hey babe, you can also just be comfortable in your own skin around me. You don't always have to wear makeup. So what happens 10, 15 years down the line? Do you continuously wear the makeup all the time? I just don't even think that there's any sort of logic that says, hey, let me be this combative over something so small and insignificant. Now, red pill content for men can breed mistrust and this whole stigma behind dating in women that honestly has men lonelier than ever. And on the flip side of that, it's doing the exact same things for women and nobody says anything.
There is not a single man who actually believes in not all men, because they'll tell their sisters and mothers to be careful, and they'll obsess over controlling their wives and daughters because they know deep down they too assume that men are all the same. But to everybody else, it's not all men. So to those men, instead of trying to distance yourself from the problem,
Nigga, it's not all men. It's just most men. Nah, but look, bro, it's literally not all men. The reason why people say not all men is because they are not a part of the men that be acting like the way they act. But they do be knowing that a lot of men be acting the way they act. That's why they be controlling of their daughters, and they don't let their daughters like talk to guys. For me, like, it gets to a point, you know.
because you can't get over your bruised male ego, realize that if you refuse to acknowledge the problem by derailing the conversation and invalidating women,
That's not TOS, gang.
you are just as bad.
Now, on surface level, some of this stuff has good conversation and good intention behind it. There's something to be talked about how people view each other in relationships. But when this person specifically, or other content creators like her, base their whole identity and lifestyle about relationships suck, men only see you as lesser than, you're not equal to a man in his eyes, etc., only pushing the divide further and further between men and women when it comes to dating and relationships, what do we think is the outcome? It looks like relationships are put on the back burner more and more and more, and then people are in their 30s and they get desperate because there's some sort of clock that's ticking. It looks like people don't know how to respect each other based off of the sole fact that they have two different genders than each other. It looks like people will avoid relationships more and more and more because on one end of the spectrum, there are men telling men not to date these women and stack their bread. And then on the other end, there are women telling women don't deal with these men. And so now you have these two opposing forces pulling each other away from each other, only for them to be criticized and chastised later on.
It's simply because they're ashamed, or they're afraid. No, they're either ashamed of the people they want to date, or they are judgmental of the other person
In their life, when they're not dating, when they get finessed because they don't understand how dating works, when they don't have kids and live out a dream and they call them lonely. This shit is weird.
It is not quirky or funny to publicly admit that your emergency contact is your boyfriend or husband who is deeply incompetent and irresponsible. It is wildly concerning to me to see all of the women that are under this sound that are saying, ladies and gentlemen, my emergency contact, and he is doing the most outlandish type of behavior. The joke being that he is doing something that's irresponsible and it's supposed to be funny, but then it also translates to him being your emergency contact. And the joke is supposed to be that if he was in an emergency situation, like that's who would be the one to care for you. I don't find those kinds of jokes.
Bro, what?
Oh
Obviously, they're not that kind of person. Is this nigga stupid?
Just like in the male red pill space, you have
Bro, if I post a video that my girlfriend is my emergency contact, and she like fucking some goofy shit, Nick, bro, it's obviously jokes, bro. Like obviously a nigga gonna lock in when it's fucking serious.
people that are women, literally the opposite of the men, who validate the claims or fears or dreams or fantasies or whatever these things are that the men in this space have. You have the just pearly things. You have the times where Brittany Renner went Muslim. You have any other women who is bashing any other sort of women for having quote unquote promiscuous behavior whole time they got 3 bodies. I don't know. And all it does is help further the point. It's the whole, I have a black friend and he said that this wasn't wrong. So, it's not wrong. In the female space, there is that exact same thing. I promise you, it is a new era of content creators where women are doing the same thing as men. And because they need their pick-me's to also fall in line, you get this male version of a red pill female content creator who's just validating the claims and concerns of these loser women.
There are only 2 types of men. Type number 1, I'll call these guys the self-starters. These are the confident guys. These are the ones who have their stuff going on. They're very independent. They have been alone before. They know what's up. Now, type number 1 is rarer, but these are the guys who will actually, let's say worst case scenario, you guys are together and then break up. They will actually respect your boundaries. Why? Because they already have their own life that they can go right back to. Having said that, this is the type of guy who will move on from you faster. I don't know if that's going to hurt your feelings or not. But type 2 is the guy who thinks he is independent, but in fact has never really experienced anything other than codependency in his relationships. And if and when eventually that relationship breaks up, because it always does with a guy who's codependent, this is the guy who will keep coming back every single time, even if he is the one who broke up with you first. This is why you always hear me or your friends or other women telling you men always come back, because most guys are type 2 masquerading around like they're type 1 and they are just not.
I think we let stuff like this slide for so long because the narrative, and maybe there's some truth behind it in some situations and in some regards, is that women have been victims in relationships. Now, that almost seems a little oxymoronic because at the end of the day, from my perspective, a lot of the times these people are choosing each other. So how can you be the victim in a relationship where the guy is a mama's boy when you knew he was a mama's boy before you got into it? I have no clue. I don't know. And no, please don't get into my comment section talking about women being abused or whatever. Like physically, that's not what I'm talking about at all. We condemn that behavior. But the way that we look at Fresh and Fit, the way that we look at Kevin Samuels for some of these other people, the way that people look at any of the other red pill manosphere dating guys who are extreme about dating for the men is the same way that we should look about it for the women. The only reason why we don't, from my perspective, is because there has been this overwhelming majority of people that have felt like women are victims in these relationships that they totally consented to and ultimately just didn't end up well. So then they were able to use their voice and get on the internet and project their feelings onto other people. And they put a fancy bow on it by using 3-syllable words that they probably can't even define. But because it's the new buzzword of the week or whatever the case may be, it justifies their feelings and it makes them seem like they were without any sort of fault in these relationships. The true to God only advice that a lot of people need in relationships is go out there and experience stuff. Put yourself out there. Stop being on social media to figure out how to do things.
That's facts. I feel like a lot of people, girls and guys, they be looking too much about on social media like, oh yeah, this is how your boyfriend should be. This is what you should do for your girlfriend. Get this for your girlfriend. You don't love her. Like, just go out, gang. Just go. Appreciate that follow, gang. Just go out and fucking do your thing. But yeah, nah. Like, I feel like you just go out there and just date, bro. I feel like you can't let other people tell you how to, like, do your shit. You know what I mean?
This stuff will only give you analysis paralysis, and it will take you out of something that you actively need to participate in order to get better in. Learn, fail, learn, succeed, fail, succeed, learn, fail, learn, and then ultimately you will end up with a much better partner than you had before. And maybe one day, hopefully, you'll find your person. But trust me, it won't be because you opt out of dating.
WV.